Yes, and we are live again. It's another edition of PayTalks, and I would like to say hello to everyone all around the world from wherever it is that you're joining us this evening, because it is evening my time in the United Kingdom. And for my guest, I think it's a bit much later in the evening, quite a late evening for him. Yes. So from wherever you're joining us, welcome to another interesting edition of Pay Talks. And today we will be exploring emotional intelligence. And I've got a guest here with me today from across the globe, and his name is Sabahuddin Waqar. He is a professional in the field of emotional intelligence, and he will be sharing his thoughts with us and his knowledge and expertise in that area. So all the way from Islamabad, Pakistan, join me in welcoming Sabahuddin Waqar. It's a pleasure to have you on Pay Talks this evening, Sabahuddin.
Thank you very much for the invitation, and it is a great honor and pleasure for me as well to be involved as a speaker in the international setting. So it's a great pleasure. Thank you very much.
Oh, I like that. I feel very honored that you think this is an international setting.
Yeah, it is.
And I think indeed it is, if we've got people logging in from all over the world. So lovely to have you here. And how's it in Islamabad this evening? Tell me.
It's too much hot, and well, weather is like this in summers normally, but it's fine. We are used to the weather like this.
Well, we're looking for that hot weather this summer in the UK. We're thinking we need that hot weather, and especially in Wales, we want to be able
you can take the Islamabad's weather to the Wales and give us the Wales weather for some time, especially in June and July.
We'll send you an invitation to come over to Wales, and when you're coming, bring the weather with you.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Thank you.
There we are. So I'd just like to give our viewers a bit of background on Sabahuddin, so we know who he is and exactly what he does for a living. So Sabahuddin Waqar is a certified emotional intelligence trainer and coach who believes in an interactive approach to learning, which helps in making his sessions an interesting learning environment. He very much believes in helping people, to release their true potential by putting their emotional energy into action. He believes that our emotional health and well-being is a crucial factor for our all-round development, which is very true and very important. He is at the moment compiling, implementing, and delivering people-related plans with the goal of increased employee engagement and continuous improvement. It all sounds a bit too professional for me, but hey, he will tell us about it later on. His mission is to educate Pakistan, where he's based at the moment, about the value of emotions and the skills associated with using them. He has worked with over 150 organizations, amazing, including schools, universities, and corporate setups that have benefited from his training sessions and coaching solutions. And he thrives on the fact that he reaches over 1,000 people every year, just enabling them to work, on their emotions. And, if you're like me, until not too long ago, I had no idea what emotional intelligence was, but thanks to, trainers and coaches like Sabahuddin, we will be finding out a lot more about that this evening. So Sabahuddin, what is emotional intelligence? People like me really want to know.
Okay. Well, let me explain it very simple way. Our mind has two parts. One is the autopilot and one is the conscious part. Autopilot part is made up of our past experiences and everything is saved there. So autopilot part is working automatically. Whatever is coming from the autopilot, it is working automatically in our lives, even the reactions we are giving in our world, right? So emotional intelligence is basically understanding that autopilot and auto messages of our mind. And we have conscious mind. Through that conscious mind, we can put the intentional effort to change our emotions from the specific position, from the specific area. If I am, very bad emotion, in the very bad emotion, so I change it from one emotion to another emotion through my conscious mind. And autopilot is not in my hand, but conscious mind is in my hand. So emotional intelligence in simple language, switching your emotions from one emotions to another emotions at a specific position, at a specific situation, whatever you can say. But if you use, you go into the theory, there is a definition of emotional intelligence, understanding your emotions, and especially I would say autopilot emotions, because I have autopilot, auto thoughts, and auto emotions is generating all the time. You get up early in the morning and you are not in the good mood, because it means there is something coming from the autopilot. That's why you are not in the good mood. So emotional intelligence is understanding your autopilot emotions and through your conscious mind, switching it from one emotions to another emotions. So this is emotional intelligence.
Right. So is it just understanding?
Well,
is that where
understanding,
it stops?
recognizing, then
Yeah.
as I said, understanding, recognizing your emotions and switching your emotions from one emotion to another emotion. It means managing your emotions effectively. You being smart with the feelings. You use your feelings smartly. That is what emotional intelligence is. For example, you want to do some task and there is always emotion attached to the task. You are going to the job. There is an emotion attached to it. You are not feeling good about the job today because your boss has given you the task and you have done the task, but boss said the task is not up to the mark. So you are not feeling good. So this not feeling good with the task plus feeling equals to result. So emotions are always there. Intelligence, emotional intelligence, you switch that feeling into another feeling which can help you to maintain the result or getting the better result. Because emotions drive people and people drive performance. That's it. That is set by the 6 seconds. So emotions are there, messages from the body. So if we do not have emotions, we cannot move. And the thing is, we need better emotions to move us forward rather than we need unpleasant emotions. So we need to deal with unpleasant and we have to use the pleasant emotions to move forward.
Oh, wow. In everything you've said, there's one word that just kept coming at me through your explanation, and that is control. Being in control. Am I right to understand that, it just basically means, we're in control of the way we feel?
I'm not using the word control. I'm not using the word control.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not using the word control. Control is like I am suppressing something. Like my child is under control. My child is under control. It means I have put him inside the box or put him inside the room. I'm controlling my child. So controlling is not really working all the time. It's suppressing, managing and dealing with it effectively. So I'm not using the word control. It is like managing your emotions effectively. Control could be mean you are controlling your emotions in front of your boss. You're not telling him or her that I'm not feeling good about you, but you're controlling it. That emotion will come out, without knowing yourself. You are sitting. For example, you have an argument with your boss. You controlled your emotion. You didn't express the emotion. You go to some other places like restaurant, but you misbehave with the waiter. So it means you controlled emotion from one situation, but emotion will express itself out from the other situation automatically. So controlling is not a good word. Controlling is suppressing. Suppressing is like a sin in the emotional intelligence. It is like a sin. So you have to manage it effectively. You have to express it effectively so that both parties can get the benefit of the emotion.
Absolutely. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And,
Yeah.
I've just had another one of my duh moments again when I just think that, control is the right word, but actually managing is the right word.
Yeah,
Yeah,
managing
you're
is the
not in
right word.
control. You're just being able to, or having the ability to manage your emotions from one to the other. Okay.
Exactly.
So my next question would then be, uh, emotional intelligence, the ability to manage your emotions, is that a skill?
It is a skill. It is a skill. It was not a skill if we go back to 1990s. It was not a skill. I'm sorry. We were just picking up the people from the IQ part of the brain. We were not picking up the people from the EQ part of the brain. Daniel Goleman in 1996, his breakthrough book called Emotional Intelligence. That's where it started spreading all over the world. It says in that book, one person was very intelligent. He was very intelligent, but he just went to his teacher and he just tagged him. So that intelligent person who's got good grades in the classroom, but he stabbed his teacher, would you call him an intelligent person? That is my question. So the thing is, it's a skill to understanding your emotions and use them effectively. A lot of teachers and people come to me. Like one teacher came to me. I asked her, "You are a very good writer. Why don't you write?" She said, "When I am in a good mood, I write. When I'm not in a good mood, I don't write." So it means she's waiting for the mood. Mood is there to controlling her all the time. So mood is it means she doesn't have the control of her on emotions like the remote control. Somebody else is pressing the buttons of the emotions, and she's like, "I'm not in a good mood." And research says in 2 months, like, for example, if I want to write a book, I have a good mood, and constantly for 2 months I have a good mood. So I can write my book in a 2 months, for example, right? But there is another person who is waiting for the mood to come, then he writes a book. Then it means it will take him or her 2 to 3 years to write a book. So it is becoming a skill, but a lot of people are unaware of it. What are emotions? Because whatever we are doing, it's a need of, there is a need of body all the time. Body is telling us the need. Like we go to washroom, so there's a need and signals from the mind that we need to fulfill this need. So emotions are also the psychological needs. So these emotions and signals all the time are coming from the body. If we are not picking up these signals, we are not understanding it, and we are not reading it, we can get sick. That's why people are sick, get sick, because they don't get the message right, and they are in the hospitals because of the too much release of the one chemical, and that's why they're in the hospital. And that's where it gets started. The blood pressure and the diabetes, it gets started by the chemicals. Too much release of one type of chemical uh, put us in on the bed. So it is a skill now to learn, and the research says for to move forward and for the success of your life, success is just, it's not like whatever you want to achieve in life. 80% is a part of emotions. IQ is there. You know how to do the work. You know how to walk. You know how to go to the job. You know how to perform the job. But sometimes you must have experience. Sometimes you know how to do the job, but you are unable to do because your emotions were not involved. So IQ dies when emotions are not involved. That's how important they are. That's why it has become a skill now, and everybody has to learn. If you go back to 90s, we were doing only 20 jobs, 20 tasks a day. But right now in 2021, we are doing 100 plus tasks a day.
Absolutely.
Most of the time we are checking the WhatsApp. We are also dealing with our family. In the old days, I heard from somewhere they were talking to their families through letters, and letter takes a lot of time, months, 2 months to come and go. So now we have minutes and seconds. We are connected with the family. We're listening to their problems. When we are listening to their problems, emotions are changing. When we are with our family, in a job, emotions, we are all the time getting the emotional data. So it is a skill.
There's so many people out there who I think are probably like me, you know, in our understanding of emotional intelligence. And so it is a skill. A lot of people don't understand that it's in us, though, because we are the ones in charge. So we're the ones managing those the emotional intelligent. But for those who really don't know, how, you know, how can I, if I don't know, how can I become emotionally
It's very
intelligent?
simple.
Is it
Well,
through training, coaching, or are there other ways?
there are a lot of ways: training, coaching, reading a book, like listening to some people. If you want to, if you are asking me the how part, practically, how can I embed this emotional intelligence into my life? I can tell that as well. But there are a lot of trainings available. I can name some trainings. You can go to the 6 Seconds website. All the emotional intelligence data is available there. And you can go to ruler technique, which is the invented by Dr. Mark Brackett, and it's from the Yale University, and it's obviously from the USA. So ruler technique of emotional intelligence is very famous. Then 6 seconds model is very famous. Then the Daniel Goldman model is very famous. It is it's not like it will take 2 months, 3 months. It's like a journey, knowing yourself. You know, I am still till now I'm able to read my 150 emotions so far. 150. It could be for you too much 150, but there are 3,000 words of emotions which we don't know what we are feeling. But through the signals and through the messages and thoughts, we are able to read the emotions. So I have made a chart of my emotions. So let me show you. These are my emotions. So far, I know these are my emotions.
Hang on, I'm trying to get a good look at it now. So
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
see mad, I can see happy, I can see sad, and I can see calm. But all around those different emotions, those four in color codes, there's some other, you know, tiny words all around
Let
them.
me
Talk us through it.
Yeah, let me explain the color code. This is a ruler technique I'm going to explain, and this is mood meter. There are 4 colors: red, blue, green, and yellow. Is it clear? Can you see it?
Yes, I can see it. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, you know, you get up early in the morning. You can, if you just go into your feeling, I ask you, how are you feeling? So, red means it's a bad area, like this. It's a bad area. High energy, but unpleasant. I'm not feeling pleasant, but energy is very high. I'm just into the fighting mode, tense, annoyed, frightened, right? And there is a blue area. It's like I am unpleasant. I am on the unpleasant side, but energy is very low, like sad, disappointed, hopeless, right? And there is a green area. There is a green area, and now I am on the unpleasant side, but energy is low. I'm very calm. Energy is very low. I could say low or very low, but I'm on the calm side. Then there is a yellow side. Energy is very high, but I am on the pleasant side.
Yeah.
Right? I get up early in the morning. I can measure my mood. There is a saying called, if you don't measure it, you can't manage it. So in order to measure anything, it is very easy to manage it. You know, if I am measuring that my weight is this much, 80 kg, 75 kg, so I can manage it whether to stay there or whether to lose my weight. So it same goes to emotions. I measure my emotion every day. There is a pleasant and there is an energy. So I measure it, how much energy I am feeling. I could be in the morning, I could be feeling, oh my God, I have to do the task and I forgot. So energy is very high, and I am on the red side, right? And energy, for example, I go to the work and I was sitting there. Somehow I got managed from the red area, but now I am in the blue area. So you are in your job, you're doing some work in your job, and you're in the blue area or whatever area you are. Then you have a lunch, you're sitting with your clients or with your people or with your colleagues. How are you feeling? Then you are having, coming back to the afternoon, how are you feeling then at in the evening, what are you feeling, how are you feeling, then at dinner time, how are you feeling, then with family, without family, friends, colleagues, whatever it is, at your home with children, no children, how are you feeling. So all the time, all the day, you are feeling something and you are in the between these quadrants. So yeah, so this is what, when I measure this quadrant, it is called recognize my emotions, recognize myself. Where am I standing? Right? This is a first step to manage emotional intelligence, to learn emotional intelligence. So where am I standing? Or for recognizing. Second part is understanding what is the cause or the reason of blue feelings. What is the cause or the reason of red feelings, or the green feelings, or the yellow
Yellow
feelings?
feelings.
So
Yeah.
cause could be like three things could be the cause: people, thoughts, emotions. It could be the people, it could be the thoughts, my own self-talk. Maybe I am not, appreciating myself. I am not appreciating my work. I'm not liking myself. So could be my thoughts. Could be events. Could be event happened somewhere. So I am very tense about the event. Event is not changing. So that's why I'm upset. So I'm not getting the result what I want. So this is the second part. Number third part is label. L stands for label. So I'm spelling the ruler. R stands for recognize, U stands for understanding, L stands for label. In label, you just learn four emotions of each quadrant like this. Just learn four emotions. Once you learn the four emotions, you have learned the four messages of your body. It is coming from your body. You're feeling calmness. So, what is the reason of calmness? You start knowing your calmness strategies. So, this is what I've done. That's why I'm feeling calmness. This is what I have done. That's why I'm feeling disappointment. So, you know that where are you standing? If you are unable to label, how can you strategize yourself from one emotion to another emotion? That's the switching part. If I am unable to label, I don't know how to label my emotion. I don't know what am I feeling. I cannot switch my feeling. Yeah, please.
There's an
Please ask me.
emoji, that last chart that you held up. There's a fifth emoji right in the center.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a neutral feeling.
What's that feeling there?
Yeah, that's neutral feeling. I'm not feeling anything.
Yeah, I thought
that's
so.
Neutral.
The straight lip. I was thinking, well, what are you thinking? Where are you?
Yeah, it is a feeling as well. It is a neutral feeling. I'm not in the state of any feeling. I'm just feelingless. So it is a feeling as well. So once I know, let me go to the if for example I am feeling guilt, I have a guilt, or I am feeling regret. There's a regret. It should be here somewhere. Yeah, here. I'm feeling regret. I have some regrets. So once I feel regret, now I am in a very better position to manage it. Otherwise, I'm not.
Yeah.
People have so many regrets, and I have heard the quote from the Jim Rohn. The pain of the regret is in the tons. Too much pain of the regret, but pain of discipline is in ounces. So I am in the regret. Once I know that I have regret feelings, I am in the better position to manage it. I just open the message. It's very unpleasant feeling. I can understand. And for too much time, what people do, they just want to avoid these feelings, and they go to their friends and they just talk about something else so that they avoid that feeling. That is suppressing. That feelings could be avoided at that moment, but that feeling comes out again if you are facing the same situation at any other time. Understand my point? So a regret feeling has a message to repair yourself. It's like repair the damage.
Yeah.
What can you do to repair the damage? For example, I'm feeling jealous. So what is the message in the jealous? Open the message and try to read the message. And then I am in the better position to manage it rather than I don't know what normally in Pakistan, I don't know what happens in UK. In Pakistan, when we tell someone you are feeling jealous, they straight away say, no, I'm not jealous, I'm not jealous. But they are actually.
Yeah.
And they're ignoring the feeling.
Yeah.
These feelings, this alone jealous and envy feelings really get us sick, get us on the bed, people on the bed because of these feelings, and they don't just ignore it. They say this is not what I'm feeling. So
Yeah.
the solution of this feeling is inside these feelings. The messages are inside.
Right.
So ruler technique
So
is
you've got to get to the
this.
crux. You've got to get to the crux of the matter. Understand the reasons why you are feeling the way you are feeling, and address those reasons to be able to get out of that emotion.
Emotions.
Otherwise, I mean,
Exactly.
I think it pretty much works the same way in pushing the dust, as they say, pushing the dust or sweeping the dust under the carpet. Each time something happens, you just put it away and you don't address it. You're not able to get out of that emotion, until you address it. This is the reason why I'm feeling that way.
It's like,
I need to address it and, move on from there.
If I'm not addressing, it's putting the dust under the carpet all the time. Once the dust is under the carpet, one day I just, open the carpet, I just see
You're
too much dust is there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Absolutely.
So it's good practice to sweep the dust out, in your daily life. Just address your feelings, and it helps you to understand. You feel too much calmness when you know your emotions, when you know what are you feeling and what are the good and bad feelings. Yeah.
Prior to coming live on the show, I mean, I've been doing a little bit of, background research, very simple research, just, trying to gather up as much information as I can about emotional intelligence. And I came across, I think, someone who's a professional, obviously, in that field, Daniel Goleman. I think he's quite popular as well, the American psychologist who helped to popularize emotional intelligence. So definitely a very strong voice in emotional intelligence. And he talks about 5 key elements to emotional intelligence. I know he's mentioned self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. What do you think of those 5 emotional intelligence, and what has happened around those 5 components?
It's coming back to the same point. The self-awareness is same as the recognize yourself. Where are you standing? So you have to use some quadrant, so that on the scale of 1 to 10, I'm standing here and I want to go there or there. So self-awareness. Are you there? I think this screen is stuck.
Yeah, we had a little bit of internet instability there, but you're back on. Carry on.
Yeah. So self-awareness is like knowing yourself, knowing your emotions, and knowing your emotions like this. Knowing your emotions. You should know your emotions. Name them. Name them. So self-awareness is, I know what emotion I am feeling right now. And I know what do I need to do in order to get out of this emotion or stay in this emotion. Like I'm feeling calmness. So I need to stay in this emotion. I do not want to get out of this emotion. So self-awareness is knowing your emotions, knowing yourself, your self-confidence, and self-regulation. It's same like strategies. You must have strategies to move from one emotion to another emotion. And strategies for everyone is different. Your strategies could be different. Your strategies could be like you hanging out with your friends, and my strategies could be like I'm staying inside my room and doing some reflection. This could be my strategy. My strategy could be like yoga, and your strategy could be like playing badminton. So everyone has to come up with their own strategies, but still there are 7 to 8 common strategies out there, like meditation, reframing your thoughts, very, very effective strategy. Self-talk. One of the most practiced strategy is self-talk. People have very much negative self-talk. That's why they are unable to manage their emotions. They critique themselves, and this is the reason they critique others, because they are very much hard on themselves, and they are very much hard on others as well. So this is a self-regulation part. Then there is a motivation part. Motivation is a very powerful emotion to move us from one to another part. Most of the world's inventions has come in the red area. People were very angry. People were tired of losing. People said, I had it. I just now I do not want to live like this anymore. By Jim Rohn. So this is the red area. They get the motivation from the red area. They are in the, they are like in the intense pain. They just stand up and they say, I want to get out of this. So this is motivation emotion. So it's very powerful emotion. It's usually come from the red to yellow. You straightway jump from the red to yellow, right? And then there's empathy. Empathy, if you are understanding your emotions effectively, like you are naming your emotions effectively, you know where are you standing. It is very, very easy for you to empathize with others. You know where they are standing, what they are feeling, because you have been through those feelings. That's why you know what they are feeling. So empathy is feelings other person's feelings.
Yeah.
Go into their shoes.
Putting yourself in their
Understand.
shoes. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the last one is social relationship, the social area. It means how much effective you are socially. Obviously, when you empathize with someone, you are very much in the control, or I don't want to use a control word, but you are very much in the position to connect with someone emotionally. What happens? People say, I do not have a good connection with them, with him, with her. So only problem is we are not connecting with each other emotionally. Our emotions are not connected. Emotions are the signal for us to connect or to avoid others. You are standing somewhere and there's a person standing there. If you want to talk about it, you just get the signals before you talk to them. You get the signal and then you decide whether to go with to the person or just avoid it. So this is the fifth part. And same goes to the ruler technique. All the parts are there in somehow different way. And there's another thing is reaction and response in the Daniel Goleman model. Reaction means without thinking, and response means with thinking. So you take the thinking part with your emotions, then you do something whatever you want.
Oh, I'm learning a lot from all of this, especially that part about gauging people's emotions and where they are before, you act. And I tell you something, when I was growing up, there's four of us sisters, and my oldest sister, we all looked up to her, the remaining three of us and our brother as well. And somehow my other sisters or my other siblings used to think I was the favorite of my oldest sister. I said, you always go to her, anything you ask her for, she would give you, she would do for you, she would listen to you. And at some point, I think it was a case of, if anything, if they wanted her to do anything, I would be the errand girl. They would say, well, you go and talk to her because you seem to have a way around her. And I always used to say to them, it's not about having a way around her, and it's not about being her favorite, because I don't think I was. It's about gauging her emotions. And at the time when I was saying these things, I didn't even know about emotional intelligence, so I didn't associate it to that theory. It was a simple, it was just simple everyday logic. So when you want to ask someone for something, or you want to say something to them, you kind of gauge what mood they're in. Are they in a good mood? If you want to ask them for a favor,
exactly.
Are they in a good mood? If they're in a good mood, the likelihood of your getting that favor is really high. The chances of that favor being granted is really high.
Exactly.
If they're in a sad mood, it might not be such a good time. You might not get a negative response, but you might get a hang on, not now. I don't
Not
want
now.
to listen to this now. If they're in an
Yeah.
angry mood, you're probably going to get a telling off, a proper telling off. Can't you
Yeah.
see this is not the time for it? So it's yeah, it just all came back to me as you were talking about that thing about, you know,
Yes, exactly.
watching
So
people and learning from their
if
emotions.
exactly,
But
if you put the emotional intelligence theory in this case, like
mhm,
if someone is in anger mood, so emotional intelligence in the social relations, uh, it's like you switching the other person's mood from anger to happiness or anger to calmness.
yeah.
This is the social skills. These are the leadership skills. You molding the other person's mood from one emotion to another emotion,
Hmm.
right? So okay,
Yeah.
you want
So now that you know, you've brought in that leadership aspect to it. I think we
yeah.
should talk about that. Emotional intelligence in leadership. When do you, what do you think of a perfect leader? You know, and what comes to your mind, and why is emotional intelligence very important to leadership?
Okay, I can explain it with a very simple example. You know, one person, came to me and he said, I cannot give the presentation in front of the crowd. I said, why? And that boy said, I am having a lot of fear. So fear is stopping him to
Hmm.
do the presentation in front of the crowd. So I was a teacher of that class, and I asked him, now it was my job to lead that person and to put him in the position where it is more benefit for him rather than I just listen to him. Okay, fear. Okay, that's fine. Don't do it. It's not good for you. So what I did, I just asked him a simple question.
Hmm.
I asked him, if you don't face that fear right now, would you be able to face that fear in your whole life? Do you want to stay in that fear in your whole life? And don't you want to go in front of the audience in your whole life? And he said, no, I want to go to the audience and I want to present, but there's a fear. And then I asked him again, there is a fear there. But what about that fear and that feeling? When after 20 years you are standing there and your other colleagues or other people are moving forward because they can speak to the audience, but you are unable to speak. And that is there. He said, okay, yeah, I can understand that this is very dangerous for me. Right now, its fear is very small, but later that can become a guilt, regret, or maybe a bigger fear and I won't be able to do the presentation for my whole life. So in leadership, emotional intelligence, what is the right emotion for the people to move them forward? It's not the comforting the people. It's not the putting the people in the calmness all the time.
Hmm.
It's all four quadrants. Sometimes you put the people on the anger emotion so that they can show their best skills
Hmm.
in their fighting mode. You must have seen the movie name called Miracle. Have you seen it? Miracle.
No, I haven't seen it. No.
Okay, it's amazing movie. What coach did, there was a match going on, and suddenly one player got injured, and doctor said you have to do the rest, otherwise the injury, otherwise you cannot bear the pain. So that player went to the dressing room and he was resting, and coach said, "Where is our main player?" The doctor said he's got a back injury and he cannot play anymore. And the coach said, "Okay, what if he bears the injury? What he bears the pain? Can he play?" The coach said, "Oh, the doctor said, yes, he can play if he bears the pain. Otherwise, he can't play. The pain is too much." Coach went to the player and coach said, "You are a loser. Even before the match, you get out of the ground. It's very bad." And the players started getting angry. And player said, "You want me to play with this injury? Okay, I will play. I will go and play with this injury." And he was in a very angry mood. But what coach did, coach showed a leadership skill because that time it was very, very important for the person to be in the ground rather than in the dressing room. And the injury was bearable. The pain was bearable, and once coach knew that pain is bearable, it's not really harmless. It's not really harming the player. So coach just putting the player into the red zone so that he can fight with the best of their skill. Because in the red zone, we are very best of our fighting skills rather than in other emotions. So leadership is what people are feeling and what are the best feelings for the people in order to achieve what we want in the company, in maybe in the country, maybe whatever is the situation, and leader put himself first into that feeling, then the other people are following. So it's very, very important to know the emotions, what people are feeling. I have seen a lot of companies, a lot of leadership have no idea. Leadership is like a given up leadership. They have given up. Okay, whatever they are doing, let them do. They don't care what people are feeling. Research says people, as I told you before, people drive performance, and people drive emotions, and emotions drive performance. So people are driven by emotions. If emotions are not there, IQ won't work. This is a very big part to understand what the leadership.
Yeah, and I was just thinking around that as well. I was just going to ask you a question around the IQ, just to say, is emotional intelligence more important than our IQ, and if so, why?
Okay, so in the in the old theories, it is very important. 80% is our emotions and 20% is IQ. But now what is happening, when both IQ and EQ working together, we are at our best selves. So we cannot compare it now. It's a working together thing. Like I have told you before, the presentation example of the student. In that case, emotions were working like a fear. I don't want to do it. He was taking the emotional decision. He was only using the part of the emotions. I am feeling fear. But what I did, I just activate the IQ part, thinking brain, and thinking brain is responsible for the long-term thinking. What would happen after 20 years if you don't take the step right now?
Yeah.
Thinking part, it's like a visionary. Thinking part can vision. Thinking part can think about long-term. Thinking part can think about logic. Logic and emotions working together, IQ plus EQ, working together, we are at our best. When only emotions are there, we are animals. When only IQ is there, we are robots. So both are working together, but 80%, yeah, 80% emotions and 20% IQ.
So essentially it's insufficient to just have a very high IQ. You need to interject emotional intelligence into it to achieve the most effective outcomes in anything you do.
Exactly. That's why we have seen a lot of people. I have given you the example before as well. The student stabbed his teacher. Students were getting very good grades in the class. IQ is there, grades, heavy grades, but misbehaved with the teacher because he didn't get one subject grade good. So what he did, he misbehaved with the teacher because he couldn't bear the failure, the frustration, the ego comes in. I have failed the subject. How dare he is to fail me in the subject? So this is emotion. These are emotions. So emotions overtook the intelligence, and then he misbehaved to the teacher. He stabbed his teacher.
Wow, powerful insight there. So just on a final note, what motivational words would you give people looking to develop their emotional intelligence?
Well, I could say all of the problems we are facing in our daily life, it is because at the underneath, if you go to the depth, it is because of our emotions. It is because we don't know what to do with emotions. It is because you are overwhelmed. It is an emotion. What you have to do, you have to deal with it. You have to strategize it. Like I am feeling jealous and I start doing yoga. Yoga is not going to work. I have to open the message, read the message, and then I have to strategize it. So my message is same. Whatever problem you are facing, it at the end of the day, it could be the emotional problem.
Mm,
It will end up with the emotional problem, and
absolutely.
it won't be solved without if you go into the depth of the emotions.
Mm. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Sabahuddin Waqar, you have been simply amazing in,
Thank you.
taking us through emotional intelligence this evening. And I have no regrets whatsoever having you on this evening.
Thank you.
I think I'm leaving the show myself, and I'm speaking for myself now, in a more informed position than when we started. And I believe this to be true to everyone else who's watching and who will be watching this live show on YouTube and other social media handles. So I would like to say thank you very much for taking
You're
the time,
welcome.
especially with the
And
time.
thank you, you too.
Oh gosh, to come on the show. We hope that you will agree to come again another time to talk us through,
My
other
pleasure.
aspects of emotional intelligence and the other work, the other fabulous work that you're doing as well in Islamabad and around the world remotely. It's
Yeah.
been such a pleasure having you this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And to everyone who's been watching us, we'd like to say thank you again for sticking with PayTalks. And I'll be back again next week with another very interesting edition and guest. So until then, keep liking our page, share it, subscribe to it, and always remain with PayTalks. My name is Paybentu, signing off for PayTalks. Thank you. It's been thrilling.
As it been.